Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Random Minion Caster, and welcome to Week 2 here of Coalition League's Noxus Division. As noted on Friday when we saw 7 men play against Vengeful Reapers, Noxus Division has been reshuffled here and reconsolidated into 6 teams. And it's comprised of 7 men, Vengeful Reapers, DoVN, Nightfall, EXNL, Glacial Inferno, and MG Nitro. And we did get to watch 7 men and Vengeful Reapers go at it live on Friday. Today we are going to be watching here DoVN Nightfall versus EXNL this afternoon, and at 5 p.m. Eastern we will have Glacial Inferno versus MG Nitro. And with that, we have the picks and bans done here for DoVN Nightfall versus EXNL. On the blue side, DoVN Nightfall in the top lane, Lord of Aces in the jungle, Gunth79 in the mid lane. Once more, it's going to be Web Hippo in the bot lane. We've got Poison Lynch on ADC and Mohawk Gaming on support. On the red side, EXNL in the top lane. I'm very upset now. Once more, in the top lane in the jungle, we've got Chef Boy 69 in the mid lane, Glub, and in the bot lane, MG Dilly on ADC, Avarice Sins on support. That being said, the bans coming up from DoVN Nightfall are going to be Talon, Twitch, Janna, Volibear, and Syndra. That Volibear targeted here at Chef Boy coming in for EXNL. Has been playing a lot of that Volibear in the jungle, and this is the reworked Volibear. On the side of EXNL, they're banning out the Amumu, Caitlyn, Mordekaiser, Pantheon, and Teemo. So gonna let Web Hippo get that Morgana that he favors so much. And it's a very interesting Teemo ban here. Lord of Ace is not known to be the biggest Teemo player, so definitely an interesting ban, perhaps feeling like they didn't need necessarily that 5th targeted ban. Now for picks, DoVN Nightfall, very familiar composition here. We have Jarvan for once more, for Gunth, Morgana for Web Hippo in the mid lane, Tristana, Illaoi, and Alistar. And that Illaoi is going to be for Lord of Aces. We've seen it banned against DoVN Nightfall quite a few times in the last split, but EXNL feeling confident they can handle it for themselves. And EXNL going to be picking up the Lucian, Leona bot lane, Urgot in the top lane, Wukong in the jungle, and pardon me, that is not an Urgot pick. Looks like there was some error there. It's actually an Olaf pick. So it's Lucian, Leona in the bot lane, and Olaf in the jungle, Wukong for the top lane, and Azir in the mid lane there for Glub. Looking at compositions, very typical DoVN Nightfall composition, very strong AoE team fight composition here for themselves as well. And while Morgana usually seen in the support position, Web Hippo has played it in the mid lane. Web Hippo previously the support during the spring split here, and has used the Morgana fairly very effectively in the first week. So that will definitely be the mid lane Morgana, and they have the pick potential as well for themselves. EXNL's composition a little more mixed here. They have pretty strong team fighting as well, with the Wukong ultimate available, the knockups with the Leona ultimate as well, Solar Flare, and Azir, of course, a massive team fight beast. But they do have to be careful. Azir does take a bit of time to scale up here, so they will not necessarily be wanting to pick those mid-game fights here. Though the bot lane, very strong bot lane. So on the side of EXNL, I'm expecting them to take advantage of the Lucian, Leona bot lane that they have here and sort of dominate the early game. Look for that early level too. The Alistar pick, though, very strong counter for the side of DoVN Nightfall. Alistar known to be a bit of a counter pick here for Leona, and they did save it for last. So MG Dilly and Avarice will have to be careful of the Alistar. I do think they still win the early game there if they play it right. And top lane is going to be very volatile with the Wukong Illaoi matchup. It's not your 2 standard tanks just smacking at each other. Instead, it's going to be 2 carries trying to kill each other there. So another very exciting lane to watch. Mid lane will be a bit of a farm fest. Morgana, not the most aggressive mid laner, and Azir gonna seek to go scale into that late game here for himself. Now the teams here are loading on to Summoner's Rift here, and on the side of the DoVN Nightfall, they actually have a fairly strong level 1 team. They have the Morgana, have Alistar, 2 of the stronger invaders here with the Dark Binding and the Pulverize, but it looks like they're just gonna start out defensively here. EXNL pinging down to that bottom side tri-bush, but I'd be surprised if they actually go and invade on this, because they only really have the Leona for level 1 CC. Lucian very strong level 1, but has to be careful, and they will go in. Poison Lynch just going to leave a ward behind. Will get cleared out. Well played by EXNL, so there won't be any visions, but they're just going to back out here. Not going to keep on going. And with that, that's all the level 1 aggression we're going to see, I guess, for now. Now, both junglers, Olaf and J4, very strong junglers here. Olaf probably not going to be the first one to get the gank off. Has a very dangerous clear in terms of health. Comes off the jungle at level 2, level 3, very low. So will usually base to pick up their first items before looking for a gank. But J4, on the other hand, very, very strong ganks right away after clearing his first major buff. Has the flag and drag available right away, and that can mean that starting on the bot side, he can gank any of the lanes here. Can look for a bit of a cheese in the early lane, bot lane gank, but has to be careful because his bot lane probably won't be level 2 yet. So we'll have to do the bulk of the lifting here. And both junglers happy to start on their bot sides respectively. Going to be most likely looking for ganks top, as we do see Gunth going up to his Raptors instead of going down, so most likely going to be either looking for a gank in the top or mid lane as his first gank here. Bot lane is a very volatile level 2 lane. Both bot lanes will want level 2. Will give them that engage, that hit but pulverize combo, or the Zenith Blade into the stun for Leona, another option as well. So whoever hits 2 first will probably be the more aggressive lane. And we do see inside of EXNL, here comes the Zenith Blade. And it's going to be on to Poison Lynch. He's already down to half health. The damage is coming across here. They still haven't hit 2, and he's going to get yet another stun. But Dilly backing off here does have the explosive shot on him. Just going to take a little bit of damage. And with that, EXNL already starting to take control of that bot lane real early here. Poison Lynch and Mohawk now going to hit themselves level 2. So will be a little safer. And with the Alistar passive there, will be able to heal themselves back up. So that nice bit of burst poke at level 2 not gonna stick here. We do see, I'm very upset now, top lane invading very deep here, getting a ward down, but the early sweepers coming out of Gunth going to be able to clear out that vision. They're going to know Gunth is top side, so the bot side of EXNL going to be able to play more aggressively. But I'm very upset, and Glub have to be a little careful since Gunth is hovering on that top side right now, just waiting for Scuttle to spawn so he can take it. Will get spotted out by the Scryer's Bloom though. And Chef Boy not going to try and contest that, it looks like. Just going to drop a ward for now. He's waiting for Glub to come over, but he'll be a bit late. Scuttle already taken down by Gunth there, and Chef Boy not going to have anything to show for that top lane. I'm very upset, has to be careful. Extremely low here, the tentacles landing on him, but he will be able to get out. Just has to dodge the spawning tentacles, and he'll be just fine there in the top lane. And he's just going to stick around in lane as well. Not going to base despite getting a little low. Going to rely on those corrupting potions to keep him topped up and healthy for the next little while. Bot lane just barely missing the Zenith Blade in top lane. And once again, I'm very upset. Has to be careful. Gunth now in the area. Has the flag and drag available. Will use the flash to get in. And the flash from I'm very upset to try and fool them will not work. He's going to go down. That's going to be first blood for Lord of Aces in that top lane, that bot lane. We've got some action going on as well as the supports going in on the opposing ADCs. And we see the Ignite coming down onto Poison Lynch. He's going to be able to jump away there to safety. Will not have to blow any of his summoners. So we see the exhausting Ignite out from EXNL. And they're going to have to be careful in that bot lane. They do have a small disadvantage there. Poison Lynch is low on health though, so has to be careful he doesn't get Zenith Bladed yet again. We might not survive that one there. Damage coming out onto Mohawk. And Poison Lynch stepped in a little too close. Will go down to MG Dilly as he just runs away there on the backside. But that is still a kill, and that's even up the kill score here. It's 1-1 for both teams, and well played from EXNL to even that out for themselves. And with that, it looks like they might gain a bit of control over the Drake Pit here. Chef Boy going to show up, going to see if he can start that up for himself. Gunth is on the bottom side of the map though, so might be able to show up, but they don't have vision. They don't know it's being taken here, where people are now going to pop a ward. He's not going to use the Scryer's Bloom, so they will now know that Drake is being taken here. Will not actually have vision on Dragon. And that will be first Drake going the way of EXNL Inferno Drake. They're going to be more than happy to pick up the additional damage there for themselves. Now both mid laners, one thing to note is they are carrying teleport for both of them. Neither of them taking the combat spells here. Both of them just looking for a bit of a safe lane. And this really does favor Glub on the Azir here. Azir scaling much better into the mid and late as compared to Morgana. Morgana does have quite a bit of burst though, and the Dark Binding there can keep people stuck for days. So will be really good for finding catches, but we'll have to rely on the rest of the team to output a lot of damage here. And both junglers still playing it a bit careful, a bit safe here. Glenn did manage to get a good gank off, and I'm very upset once more aggressively in the enemy's jungle. We did get spotted out by the ward there, but we'll be able to just take the blast cone, hop to safety. And the top lane, Lure Base has already picked himself up a phage as well, so we'll be able to run. I'm very upset now down if he's not careful, and I'm very upset just sitting on the double longswords. Hasn't quite completed a tier 1 component item there, or sorry, tier 2 component item, still sitting on those longswords there. So we'll have to be careful in these trades. Is up in health right now and mana, so has managed to trade well onto Lord of Aces thus far, but he did use his teleport to get in lane. Lord of Aces did not, so we'll hold the teleport advantage. No dragon for the next 3 minutes, but he can still teleport down to that bot lane, look for a gank potentially. We'll have to see if he opts to do that as well, or whether he just might use it for lane dominance. But taking trade damage once again. There's a huge minion wave here, so I'm very upset, not gonna want to take this. Instead, will take a lot of damage from the tentacles and soul there. Now Cataclysm coming in on to Gunth. He's going under that turret, but will have to back out because he's lost track of, I'm very upset, the clone coming down right away. And I'm very upset, gonna be able to survive this gank very, very well. Chef Boy now showing up in the top lane as well. Flag and drag from Gunth. He's going deep behind the turret, but it's going to be Lord of Aces here, surviving just barely. The Conqueror doing work. We'll be able to kill Chef Boy, and now I'm very upset. He gets the second bit of the knock-up off instead. Will pick Gunth up, but Lord of Aces is going to pick up a double kill for himself. He's now 3-0. All the kills on DoVN Nightfall sitting on Lord of Aces, and that's really bad news, so I'm very upset now. Generally speaking, what we've seen thus far is when a top laner gets ahead, they will continue to stay ahead in isolation. We will be able to zone out and beat their opponent, and he's level 8 to, I'm very upset, level 7 right now, has the level lead, will have an item lead once he goes back to base. I'm very upset. Going to pick himself up boots and a bilge water as well, but that might not be enough because there's about almost 2,000 gold that's sitting on Lord of Aces for his Nyx back, and that should allow him to complete his first major item. Another thing to notice, Chef Boy playing the Olaf there, is not running Ghost, is running Flash, and this is the buffed Ghost here with the immediate start. Bot lane Gunth looking for a gank, does get the flag and drag off, but he's going to take a lot of damage here. We'll go down to Avarice Sins because he was way too far ahead of his bot lane. Solar Flare coming across, but that's onto Mohawk on the Alistar, on the tank. He's okay with that. Averson's gonna go down, but can Dewey pick up the kill? Yes, he can. And now it's Poison Lynch versus MG Dewey in the 1-on-1. The summoners down here, the combat summoners down, and the explosive shot will be enough to get Poison Lynch his double kill in the bot lane. And now both top and bot lane enjoying a bit of an advantage here for the side of DoVN Nightfall. EXNL not going to waste the time they got there. Chef Boy going to be able to pick himself up the Herald with the assistance of Glub. So though they might have lost out in the kill trade there, they did win the objective trade. They do have Herald, and they might be able to even up the gold by getting plates off turrets here in one of the lanes. And that looked like a very promising start from the side of EXNL. They instantly burst a Gunth down there, but I think just staying around, trading even more, just worked to their disadvantage. And so they ended up losing both their bot laners 2-for-2 trade. Poison Lynch gets the farm up a little bit, not able to quite complete the first item, looking for an Infinity Edge for Poison Lynch there. On the other hand, MG Dewey able to complete the Essence Reaver and did take the boots mastery there, so will also get himself a free pair of boots as well. We'll have a movement speed bonus as well as the additional damage from that completed item. So I'm still expecting to see that bot lane go the way of EXNL. Now top lane, Lord of Aces using the Alawi ultimate, getting a lot of damage off, but has to be careful. Conqueror though from Alawi with the completed Black Cleaver, gonna make sure easy clap in that top lane. And now Lord of Aces 4-0 here. This is why people ban out Lord of Aces Alawi. EXNL just playing a really good macro game here. They are losing in their lanes, but as soon as they see somebody go down, they quickly make a play on the other side of the map. Do manage to pick themselves up the second Drake of the game, and this one's going to be an Ocean Drake, so will definitely benefit the mid lane and bot lane here as they continue trading in their lanes. In the top lane as well for very upset. He's teleporting once more into that top lane, looking to pick up a quick kill onto Lord of Aces, who's very low. Will be able to pick the shutdown. That's 400 gold going his way. Will help to mitigate some of that gold gap that has shown up from the massive, from the constant kills. And now mid lane, they're going to drop the Herald there with Shelly. Glub sidestepping the binding. It's going to be Chef Boy eating it instead. And that's going to be 2 plates going the way of Glub and Chef Boy. But Shelly just going to go down right away there. Not sure that was necessarily the most efficient use of Herald, but it certainly will give a bit of a gold lead there in the mid lane. The gold lead right now sitting with the side of DoV Nightfall, only about 1,000 gold, so not huge at the 12-minute mark, and most of that just sitting in the top lane there and jungle. The mid lanes and bot lanes very close, actually slightly in favor of EXNL, and it shows in the items there. As like I said, the first completed item from MG Dewey, the Essence Reaver, gonna do work, and in the mid lane we have the Stinger as well as the double Duran's Ring for Glub, giving him a little bit of that early game advantage here in terms of items, just to try and match Morgana, who's a much stronger early game champion than Azir. And the junglers too have been mostly leaving that mid lane alone. Very safe champions here. Morgana with the Black Shield, with the Dark Binding, able to just hit the Dark Binding and disengage off most ganks. And for Azir, he has the Shuffle as well. Now Avarice getting a little aggressive, going under the turret. He's gonna get pulverized, hit butted. The Solar Flare misses, and that's gonna be Avarice down as he whiffs everything after he nails the Zenith Blade onto the cow. And you can't milk those under a turret. You definitely gotta be careful. But MG Dewey doing a lot of work on his own, somehow winning the 1v2 here. Will be able to pick up the kill with his ultimate onto Mohawk, and Chef Boy just going to dive that turret there. Will be a bit low, but will be able to heal himself up with that life steal a bit. Should be safe. Gunt running down as fast as he can. Will Cataclysm, and Chef Boy running out. The Smite not going to be able enough to kill him. The pole there not quite long enough to reach him, and Chef Boy just barely getting out of the bot lane with the flash. Well played from EXNL to not give anything else over there. And MG Dewey just doing work on the 1v2. The culling just shredding both Mohawk and Poison Lynch there. And Gunt just did not have the flash available. Already used the Blast Cone to get in there. The Flag and Drag as well, so could not quite finish up Chef Boy. And that will do very nicely for him, because Chef Boy already behind in lane a little bit, and that is an Olaf. You want to be ahead, want to be able to run amok in the backline. There's no Lulu, no Orianna, nobody to really give him a boost here in terms of combat stats. So if he's behind, he's going to have issues diving people. He definitely can't get Lord of Aces. Lord of Aces shown the ability here to just instantly pop people down in the mid lane. He might be able to get Morgana. We'll have to see though, because he can Ragnarok through that Dark Binding, but bot lane's probably his best bet for now. We'll have to use the Ragnarok proactively though. You can't cleanse a knockup, so if the Pulverize goes down first, he will take the damage, and Buster and the Explosive Shot as well. Buster Shot likewise can't be cleansed, so he has to use it proactively if he wants to try and find a gank into the bot lane there. Now, Mohawk Gaming has completed himself the Moby Boots, as has Avarice, since he's going to roam up to the river there, clearing out wards, but that does leave Poison Lynch on his own. Poison Lynch going to have to be careful here, because Avarice, since still looking for those engages. They're looking for kills, looking to get something. And without the Alistar, Poison Lynch going to be very, very vulnerable to these engages here. See the teleport coming down though from behind. Looks like it's going to be Web Hippo. Will have the teleport speed boost. Going to look for the Dark Binding. A good dodge out from Dewey will keep him alive. But ever since now, going to go down as he gets collapsed on by 3. Did try and flash out, but it was not enough. And a good roam here from Web Hippo, making use of the teleport aggressively. And that's what we want to see out of the mid lane here. A failed hit but pulverized combo as Mohawk ends up whacking Dewey over the wall, but Poison Lynch is in the air, will be there as well. He's going to flash over the wall, be able to pick himself up MG Dewey, and that's going to be another kill. Double kill as he picks Chef Boy up as well, and saying that's a 3-for-0 in favor of DoV Nightfall. DoV Nightfall starting to make these proactive moves. They gave up the first 2 Drakes, but they've had enough. They think they've hit the point where they're okay diving, and they're going to go for that turret in the bot lane. Will be the second turret. First turret going down in the top lane for Lord of Aces. Second down there. Solo gold to Poison Lynch, and they're going to rotate straight to that dragon there. Pick themselves up a Mountain Drake as well, and they've suddenly opened up that 1k gold lead to a 3k gold lead, just opening things up for themselves, and they're suddenly really, really strong in the driver's seat here. Glub Glub looking for a gang to top lane. Will do the Shurima Shuffle. Will not quite get the Emperor's Divide under turret, but it won't be necessary. They'll pick up Lord of Aces through straight damage between them. Very upset. And Glub Glub here, but Glub Glub going to burn his flash a little bit preemptively here. Didn't really need it, but just wanted to be safe. And that will be down for the next 5 minutes, and he will be vulnerable here to ganks from Gunt or Web Hippo. There's plenty of CC from the both of them. This will buy EXNL a bit of much needed reprieve here. Chef Boy gonna go straight for Herald as well. Gonna look to pick Shelly up, but he's running away. Not sure what he saw that made him concerned there. Gun will pop the Scryer's Blue. Now bot lane, Web Hippo 1v2ing. Will be able to get the Soul Shackles down and might be able to get the kill here onto Avarice. Well played. The Tormented Soil just ticking down. And Avarice living up to his name here, getting too greedy. And now MG Dewey might be in trouble. The Pulverize hit, the hit by Pulverize comes down. The Dark Binding misses, but they won't need it. The Ignite going to be able to pick him up there. Mohawk going to pick himself up a kill in the bot lane onto MG Dewey. They were very far up. Chef Boy now in the bushes waiting there. Has to be careful because Gun's going to show up right behind him here, and he's gonna flag and drag his way into. I'm very upset. Gonna see if he can get the kill. The Wukong ultimate already used now, and Chef Boy using the Ragnarok, unstoppable, will be able to just barely take Lord of Aces down. The lifesteal is good. He will go down, but that's still a 2-for-1 trade, and that's a win in EXNL's books. Chef Boy starting to hit the point where he can start fighting these fights, getting kills, and that's really important for the Olaf because the kills are a huge source of income, a huge source of experience, pardon me, as well, to try and keep himself ahead of the curve against Gunth here. So even if he dies, if he can pick up those assists, if he can pick up those kills, definitely worth it for him, and he'll be happy to take those trades over and over again. Now we do see the vision being cleared out around Herald there, making a bit of a blind spot. EXNL potentially looking for that, but they have to do it soon if they want it. Baron will be spawning in a minute here. It looks like they're just going to give it up instead. They don't have vision in that area. They just cleared it out, but didn't put down any wards, interestingly enough. Instead, we see them rotating their way back down towards that dragon, which won't be up for another 2 minutes, and they're happy to just send MG Dewey and Avarice back down to that bot lane, facing off against Web Hippo. But that is a Morgana, very, very difficult to gank, and Morgana does actually very, very well in the 1v2. Can just drop the Tormented Soil, which is the skill that Web Hippo maxed here. So Web Hippo can just drop Tormented Soil, walk away, and let the waves push out by themselves. Does not actually have to interact at all with MG Dewey and Avarice Sins. So good use there. Well played from the side of Web Hippo to take advantage of that. And mid lane we see Poison Lynch is trying to take that turret down slowly, bit by bit, chipping the damage here. And now MG Dewey has to be careful. He's caught under the turret. Will take turret shots. Will go down. That's a free kill for Web Hippo. And if you're at the side of EXNL right now, you've got to be wondering what's going on. Is the mental starting to break a little bit? We saw Avarice diving Web Hippo getting killed. We now see MG Dewey diving Web Hippo getting killed. The bot lane of EXNL looking a little shaky here. And that is the long lane as well. They don't really need to have two. They can just send Dewey to farm that up in safety. They don't have to look for the kill onto Web Hippo. And EXNL really a bit on the back foot here, but DoVN Nightfall also not playing as aggressively as we're used to seeing in the mid game here. DoVN Nightfall known to be a mid game team. They really just turn it on there, whether they have a lead or not. They know how to play the mid game, know how to fight as 5, and yet right now we're seeing them a bit hesitant to pull the trigger, just letting Lord of Aces continue to split push top in that long lane. And we've seen Lord of Aces get ganked twice now in that, while the rest of the team, Web Hippo just in the bot lane farming more, and they're letting Poison Lynch and Mohawk go to the mid lane. But now Lord of Aces has to be careful, does use the ultimate, getting a lot of damage off, but getting knocked up once more, and they're gonna have a liver suicide in the top lane there. I'm very upset, gonna trade his life for Lord of Aces. Really a bit of an odd fight under the turret there, and that takes both top laners out of the pictures. They will spawn at the same time. Both have teleport, but the dragon has already been started up by DoVN Nightfall here. Will be pushed off though, as Mohawk had to take the long way around. Flag and drag coming in from Gunth will not fail to secure it. Chefboy instead the one winning the smite fight there, and now Mohawk deep in there, does have the unbreakable will, is reducing damage, is immune to CC, but will go down. Poison Lich able to pick a 0 up. Glub going down there, and now he's turning around. Will looks like he might be able to get Chefboy. Going to take the blast gun back up, but that leaves Web Hippo up a creek with no paddle, and he's going to get shut down here. MG Dewey turning back and popping off the bush, and Chefboy going to be able to pick himself up a triple kill in that fight, along with the bounty that was on Web Hippo. 150 gold extra in his pocket. Will now put him well ahead. He's 5-3 and 2, has 400 gold bounty of his own, and now up in gold against Gunth by about 1,000 here. And with that, the gold lead closing to only 500. Well played from EXNL in that fight there. And again, a bit of an uncharacteristic play here from DoVN Nightfall. Hesitating, do they go for Dragon or do they try and force a fight? The team was split up, Mohawk and Poison Lynch sort of on the bottom side, while Gunth and Web Hippo on the top side there, actually doing the Dragon. Very unfortunate, and that split will cost them the Dragon and the fight, and that suddenly puts EXNL at soul point. They just need one more to get the Mountain Soul for themselves here. They don't necessarily have the tankiest of people, but Olaf definitely, despite not being a tank, will enjoy having increased resistances, especially when he goes for those dives there. And it will be on DoVN Nightfall in the next fight to really initiate and figure out how they want to play it. Ragnarok is immune to CC, so Web Hippo not going to be able to do much. Mohawk Gaming going to struggle to protect Poison Lich, but they do have the Cataclysm though to lock him in a cage. And if they do manage to put Olaf in a cage, there's literally nothing he can do. Ragnarok not able to stop terrain. Now a good pulverize there onto Glub as they look to try and knock him back. A flash will keep him safe, but now he's under this turret and it's a little low. Nobody else on his team here to back him up. It's going to get absolutely melted because that is a Tristana. And the Dark Binding finding Avarice, since he's going to go down here real quick because he's not tanky enough. Does have the Zeeks there, but Zeeks doesn't give that much tanky stats as compared to a straight tank item. Has a lot of utility though. And we see the flash coming out of Gunth there, wanting to be being very proactive there, not wanting to get hit by anything, perhaps scared of the flank, because we do see Chefboy looking behind the rest of the team what he can do. And now they're going to go for Lord of Aces, who's isolated in that bot lane, but they've sent everybody for him. Lord of Aces used the Laui ultimate preemptively, will not have it available, and now Chefboy looking to train down Web Hippo, but the Black Shield will dissuade them. And because they sent everybody into that bot lane, DoVN Nightfall able to just take that mid lane turret, the inner turret, and get quite a bit of damage here onto the inhibitor turret as well. So EXNL winning or not say winning, they traded 1-for-1 really, because Avarice got caught out before that, and losing the macro game here as they're giving up turrets. 4-2 the turret score in favor of DoVN Nightfall, playing the map really well. being able to find that lead once again, 1,000 gold lead at 25 minutes. And DoVN Nightfall, I mean, I said that they have to be the ones to sort of be proactive here. They've got the team composition for it, and, you know, they played that one well, and EXNL has to be careful. EXNL has been playing the fights well. Their micro and mechanics have been good. As long as they're not caught out, they've been winning these fights, but the problem is macro-wise, they're slowly losing out here. That being said, they are now looking to set up vision for that dragon that will be spawning in about a minute's time. They are at soul point, so more than happy to try and take this one, get the soul, and that will give them another advantage. They're happy to let the game go slow as well, looking to let Glub Glub skill up on the Azir there, letting Chef Boy become even tankier, even an even bigger threat to the backline of Poison Lynch and Web Hippo. And DoVN Nightfall right now, just playing it slow and methodical, but perhaps a little too slow. They're going to try and clear out the vision around the dragon pit here. They want to pick it up themselves. Will be nice for Lord of Aces, Gunt, and Mohawk. Lots more tankiness for those counter engages and for their tanks here. And now MG Dewey going to walk blind, and that's the catches that we keep seeing EXNL get themselves into. It's going to cost them too, as Avarice is also going to go down here. Beautiful dark binding over the wall from Web Hippo will pick up the double kill for themselves. Now Lord of Aces in the top lane, looking a bit weaker than earlier, still will be able to pick up the kill, but it's going to run extremely low here. The Executioner's calling from I'm very upset, doing work to try and stop some of that Conqueror healing. And now Chef Boy coming up, going to be opportunistic, take advantage of the low health Lowy here, but has to be careful. The Conqueror is doing a lot of work, and he might go down. Nope, he manages to pick it up barely. The reckless swings going to be enough here. And Chef Boy skilling up nicely for himself on the Olaf after a bit of a rough early game. But will it be enough is the question here. DoVN Nightfall picking themselves up. The second Mountain Drake will get a bit more tankiness. Now they're going to siege up this bot lane, and that is a Tristana Tower Buster. Will be able to shred down that bot lane turret, and that's not already the healthiest of turrets. One explosive shot will see that turret go down here, and now Solar Flare coming out, but a stopwatch from Gun to buy time for his team to back out the flag and drag the Cataclysm to lock them up and buy his team time to escape here. This team not wanting any piece of this. Lord of Aces were already down in the teleport from I'm very upset as well, so they knew it would have been a 4v5 if they wanted to fight that. A flash from Web Hippo to keep himself ahead of the opponents will mean that he'll get away safely, and EXNL winning yet another small skirmish here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
A turret for a kill, another trade for EXNL, and that puts them a bit further behind again. Now 2,300 gold cap opening up, but EXNL showing themselves to be extremely resilient. They are giving out their turrets one at a time, but they buy themselves a ton of time here. And now it looks like Baron going to be the next objective for these teams. Dragon going to be down for the next 3 minutes here, and both of these teams would be more than happy to pick themselves up the Baron. If EXNL gets their hands on the Baron, they'll be able to pick up a lot of those turrets, which is basically going to be standing gold for themselves. And if DoVN Nightfall gets it, they might be able to finally crack that inner shell of base turrets here. They have got some damage down, but inhibitor turrets do regenerate over time, so every moment they're not sieging up those turrets is time where those turrets will heal themselves up. Now Gun potentially getting caught out here. Mohawk Gaming there to back him up, but that's... Oh, and Poison Lynch as well, so they've turned the tides here. They're going to be able to pick Dewey up real early here in the fight. Poison Lynch running for his life from Chef Boy. We'll take the blast going to safety, and Avarice since tanky enough to ignore a lot of the damage coming out here. He's trying to allow Glub Glub to free fire, and Glub Glub will be able to pick Mohawk up on that. Mohawk not even using the Unbreakable will. Perhaps thought he was tankier than he actually was. Web Hippo gets a beautiful two-man show. So Shackles, but Glub Glub on the Azir is starting to hit that late game Azir, killing everybody here. Not only Lord of Aces left alive, and Emperor's Divide to push Lord of Aces away, and I'm very upset. Has to be careful he doesn't go down here as well. Glub Glub getting damage. He's low on mana. Lord of Aces will go down though. to the damage of Glub. Well played from EXNL, as they're starting to win these massive team fights, not just the skirmishes. They get an ace for themselves with 2 surviving. So that's going to be a 3 for 5 after a very, very chaotic, messy start to the fight there. But for a second, it looked like Gunt was getting caught out. Then Mohawk and Poison Lynch collapsed in. And then it looked like EXNL was getting caught out instead with Aversins and Chef Boy there. But Glub just arriving and turning the tides. And this team fight going to be a watershed moment here for EXNL, because now we're starting to see that EXNL is starting to come online. Glub has his Death Cap, Morelos, and Gnasher's Tooth complete for himself, and is going to be able to shred through with the Conqueror's damage as well in these fights. If you let him free fire, he's going to output even more damage than the ADC, than Lucian, who's more of an AD caster than a real marksman with sustained damage there. MG2 wasn't even a big part of that fight, did get burst down really early on there, so wasn't able to contribute much damage. So there are 2 major damage threats on the side of EXNL, and they'll have to find some way to get both of them here for the side of DoV Nightfall. And DoV Nightfall has to be very, very careful now in all these fights, because I'm not sure they actually win the team fights right now. They don't have the upfront burst damage. They do have AoE damage. They have the Cataclysm. They have Soul Shackles. They have Tormented Soil. But all of those take time to sort of tick down and do the damage. Lord of Aces as well. Same thing with the Alawi Tentacles there. With the Alawi Ultimate, it's not instantaneous. Yes, there is a burst component to it, but it's not all front loaded. And now Dragon here in the eyes of both teams. The potential soul for the side of EXNL and the potential soul point for the side of DoV Nightfall. And this fight here could very well determine who wins the game at 32 minutes. Death timer is going to be about 40 seconds plus. And now Gunt going in, does manage to catch Glub, has the Cataclysm, but a beautiful Emperor's Divide will keep the opponents off of them. Now Lord of Aces getting into the backline will absolutely melt Glub, but Dewey still alive. MG Dewey able to use the culling, unloading all of it onto Lord of Aces. He'll go down. I'm very upset. In the backline, chasing down Poison Lynch. They get him, and that's going to be another clean ace for the side of EXNL. They lose Glub right off the bat. They lose. I'm very upset, but the damage is still there. The tank is still there as well. They're going to pick themselves up the Soul Drake, Mountain Drake, and they could look to just rotate straight to Baron as well. Mohawk going to be the only one coming up anytime soon in about 10 seconds for himself. But a lone ouster not going to be able to do much. Gun's going to be up in about 20 seconds. But 20 seconds should be enough here for the side of EXNL to burn down Baron. Their jungler, Chef Boy, still up. Will have the smite available here. And that smite going to be able to hit for about 900 true damage. MG Dewey here also able to shred. Does have the Blade of the Ruined King available, healed up, and so will be able to shred down this Baron quite efficiently. It's already down to 2,000 gold, 2,000 health, pardon me, and that's going to be Baron for the side of EXNL, and all 5 members that were part of V4. I'm very upset, just barely missing it. He respawned right after Baron went down, so they'll still have Baron on 4 members of the team there. Glub just teleporting to make sure he secures his team's exit there. I think for the first time this game, we might actually see EXNL here in the driver's seat. They do have Baron available. They have the stronger team in these late game fights. They have themselves Soul as well. So really, the only thing left on the map for the next 4.5 minutes is to push in, get those turrets which are still standing on the side of DoV Nightfall. Their top lane turret here, very, very low. Only 911 health. The inner turrets here, the mid lane inner turret, 2,300, just about 2/3 health. The bot lane turret almost full health for themselves, but with the Baron buff, with an Azir and Lucian, should be very, very easy for them to take these turrets. And it looks like they're going mid lane. The flash coming out, the flag and drag from Guns, but he's all alone. His team completely not able to full up. He will Cataclysm as his last testament and will in the mid lane there, but it will do nothing at all. I'm very upset. Going to split push in that bot lane. Going to be able to pick himself up the turret, but they've left Lord of Aces unattended. And Lord of Aces looking to try and pick himself up the top inner turret that he sieged for so long here. Chef Boy going up, but Chef Boy is a level down. In terms of gold, is down about 2,000 gold as well. I'm not sure he can stop Lord of Aces alone. And there we go. That standing gold starting to come through for the side of EXNL. They pick themselves up the mid lane turrets, both the inner and the inhibitor. And I'm very upset, able to kill Web Hippo solo there in the bot lane. The Black Shield not going to be able to keep him alive. And they get the inhibitor mid lane. They're looking for the inhibitor turret in that bot lane, able to shred it down right away, because that's a 2v4 in the bot lane right now. Lord of Ace is not with the rest of his team at all. That's going to be yet another inhibitor. EXNL really turning the screws on this one here. Poison Lich getting half health right away by Glub. And I'm very upset, looking to finish that off. Mohawk going aggressively in, but going to eat the entire culling, will go down. They do manage to pick, I'm very upset, down, but at what cost? Because Poison Lich going to get melted. Gunth not going to survive either, and that's the last effort there. EXNL has killed everybody in the base. Only Lord of Ace is left alive as he teleports into his base, but it's too little, too late. Can he 1v3 this? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to, because MG, Dewey, and Glub going to focus down that Nexus and pick themselves up the win for this first game here. 36-18, the final time on this game in game 1 between EXNL and DoV Nightfall. Well played from EXNL here to win this game out. The goal lead here wasn't exactly massive. When they started the game-winning push, they're only about 3,000 gold up at about 30 minutes. That's not a huge lead by any means here. It's actually quite a small gold lead, and it reflects in the items here. There's not a huge item discrepancy between the two teams. All of them fairly even there. But it's just EXNL's team composition was stronger in the late game. That's literally all it came down to. Jarvan, very strong early jungler, but late game, more utility than anything else, and that was a tank Jarvan. So he gets the Cataclysm off the flag and drag, and that's it for the fight pretty much. Maybe if the fight goes long enough, he gets another flag and drag off. Compare that to an Olaf, who can do a lot of damage there. Reckless swings gives him true damage, so he will scale well. Can just run into the backline and just keep outputting those autos off. Lord of Ace is really the sort of carry for the early game for his team, but didn't join his team, just kept split pushing all game. And while we've seen that work in the past, it requires the rest of his team to be able to survive, to be able to be safe. And while Poison Lynch 11, 6, and 4, an absolute monster for his team on the Tristana there, did a lot of work in team fights. He just couldn't stay alive with Olaf Azir just diving him. Glub more than happy to trade his life for Poison Lynch's as long as MG Dewey can stay alive. And while Dewey and Avarice Sins there did get caught out a lot in the early game on their own, in team fights though, they had the mechanics to stay alive, to kite around, to do damage. So basically, as long as EXNL forced the fights before their players could get caught, they would win these late game fights, and they really knew what to do with that Baron. As soon as they got it, they just shoved it down. They let Lord of Aces split push into the top lane so that they could get the 5v4 with Baron, and right away just ended the game with the Baron. So extremely well played from the side of EXNL here. And now going into game 2, if you are the side of DoV Nightfall who lost the game, I don't think it's so much a draft issue as they just didn't close the game out fast enough. They had the lead in the mid game. They were being proactive, but they just weren't doing it fast enough. They didn't really dive those turrets. They're just out rotating the side of EXNL. And granted, they did it really well, but still, it's a bit of a struggle. And I think the issue for them here is if they're going to pick a composition like that, which focuses so heavily in the mid game, they need to end it then, because they have no late game insurance. Morgana falls off hard. Jarvan falls off hard. Tristana, yes, she scales well. Yes, she is a bit of late game insurance, but it's not enough if they don't have enough protection from her. So if they want to do this again, I think they ban the Olaf away from Chef Boy. Make sure he doesn't get a champion who can just run into the backline and hunt down the Tristana there for themselves. Other than that, not really expecting a ton of changes in the picks and bans here for game 2. So with that, we will head into a short intermission break here while we prepare for said game 2, and we'll see you guys all in a couple of minutes here.